the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
And one time.
Let's go to the Ravens versus the Texans. Um this game was pretty simple.
Yeah.
One team was able to protect their quarterback. Well, let me take that back. The defense for the Baltimore Ravens were able to get after CJ Stroud, and he
Yes.
barely had any time. Let me look at this box score real quick. But that was pretty much the story of the game, honestly. The Baltimore Ravens defense was completely dominant, and Lamar Jackson, he was sensational when it mattered most. This game, he made a statement. Honestly, he had like 4 total touchdowns this game, 34-10, complete domination from the Baltimore Ravens. They look like the favorites that everybody says that they are. And man, this team right here, I'm just proud. I'm very proud of the Ravens and the fact that this year just seems completely different than all the other years with Lamar Jackson. Like the defense has been good in past time, but this year it's just there's something different about this defense that we haven't seen in recent memory. Like for the think about this. They didn't have Marlon Humphreys. And yet this defense, this secondary was still able to be okay. In past years, when Marlon Humphreys was out, this defense at times was not capable of overcoming the absence of their Pro Bowl All Pro corner. So for the fact that they were able to do that is outstanding. Kyle Hamilton was phenomenal. Obviously Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, all those guys, they were outstanding. Let me look at this real quick. The stats for the game. Let's see here. Let's see.
That whole defense is cheating. I
Yeah,
wish I had a defense like that.
I will say though, I will say that the Texans did make it close. I think the first half was pretty much a close game. If I'm not, I think it was a close game.
Yeah.
It was a really close game. It was competitive. The offense for the Baltimore Ravens weren't. They were still trying to get it together. They weren't real dominant. It wasn't until that third and fourth quarter came around that the offense really got a groove, really started to get it going. And that's just how it is. I'm looking, let's see here. Let's go. Let me find QB pressures. If I can find it. QB pressures. Here we
Well,
go.
Lamar, he was the leading rusher
Yep.
with
Okay.
100 yards.
So let's see. 3, 2, yeah, 3, 5, 6,
At
7, 8.
halftime, it was, I believe, 10-10 at the half. So it was close.
Yeah, they accumulated 8 QB pressures. They had that's interesting. They had 0 sacks. They had 8 QB pressures
Who, the
though.
Ravens?
Yeah, they had 0. It says 0 sacks. I'm looking at
Huh.
the
Oh,
let me
yep. It,
let me
it does say that.
that's interesting. So, I mean, that see, and this is why QB pressures is an important stat because a lot of times, just because you don't get the sack doesn't mean you didn't make it difficult for the QB at all. So, for that alone, QB pressures is an important stat. There's also QB hits as well. Let me see, QB hits. They
They
had
absolutely
one.
demolished that run game. They
That's
averaged 2.9 yards a carry.
sheesh. Yeah, they
And
were
they couldn't
phenomenal.
really throw the ball. CJ Stroud, he was 19 for 33 for
Mm-hmm.
175 yards. Average yards per attempt, 5.3.
Mm. And that's because of the QB pressure, man. They kept making it uncomfortable for CJ Stroud in the pocket. Those linebackers were really coming after it. I'm looking at the QB hits. It's like 1, 2, 3. It's like 5 QB hits. So they weren't playing around. There's a lot of tackles as well. Like another thing about Baltimore, they're really good when it comes to tackling and then
Oh yeah.
pressuring the QB as well. So when that's how you make that's just elements of a great defense right there. The fact that number one, you get a lot of pressures and then you tackle well. And that's important if you're trying to win a championship. Nico Collins, he didn't really do much this game. He didn't really do much this game. He had like 68 yards. A lot of his yardage was from the second half when the game was out of hand. Dalton Schultz didn't really do much. You already talked about the running game and stuff like that. Yeah, so pretty much it was uncomfortable for
Now,
the Texans. Yeah, what
I
are you gonna
will
say?
say, I don't know what Mike McDonald has against the Shanahan tree, but he has demolished every last one of them this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions cooked Ben Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
cooked Kyle Shanahan himself. Then he just cooked Bobby Slowick 2 times, 2 times in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he got against what dirt he has on the Shanahan tree scheme, but please share the sauce. The league needs to know this.
I know, right?
All
You
in,
know,
also, Mike McDaniels cooked him too. So whatever, share the secrets. We need the film. We need extensive. We need you to personally get on YouTube and break down the film of the 49ers offense and what you do to stop it. Because I'm sick and tired of these fools.
what's funny? You could throw in Joe Barry. You could throw it a
Oh,
little. You could kind of.
hey,
Kind of.
hey,
I mean, and then last year y'all did pretty well against the in the
true.
playoffs.
We honestly did. We did.
Y'all did pretty well against them in the playoffs.
Offense pooped the bed, but
Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, man, you're absolutely right. So I'm not gonna put this all on CJ Stroud. He was
Of course
just
not.
under duress the entire game. And see, this is why it's important to watch the game, because if you don't watch the game, you're gonna think, oh, well, CJ Stroud was trash. CJ Stroud didn't do nothing. He was a bomb. Like, no, no, no. That defense was just that good. And what did I tell you when they played the Browns and why I picked the Browns? I was like, this offensive line, can they protect CJ Stroud? Because I was still skeptical of the offensive line. And unfortunately, they couldn't do it against the Ravens. And that was that. It was really it's really that simple. Like, honestly, the playoffs are very simple. It comes down to that line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And can your team win the line of scrimmage? The Texans could win the line of scrimmage. It's just that simple. The first half, I thought the Texans defense was sensational. I thought they did a really good job for what it was against Baltimore. But second half came around, and Baltimore, Lamar, that offense got it together, and they dominated. And that was that. It really was Lamar Jackson. Let me look at Lamar's stats, because that dude was unbelievable. He was 16 for 22. Now people are like, oh, he only threw for 152 yards. He's a dual threat. Okay.
Exactly.
So he had 2 passing touchdowns, and he had 100 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Absolutely sensational. 121 quarterback rating. He was elite this game. This is what you want from Lamar Jackson. This is what a game changer, this is what an elite QB does in the brightest of moments. He puts on a show, and that's what he did in the divisional round. And now they're in the AFC Championship for the first time since, what was it, 2012? When they
Yep.
had, or 2013 when they had Joe Flacco? Man, how crazy is that? How crazy is that? Salute to the Ravens. I can't wait. We're gonna talk about it on Saturday when who we have against, with the Ravens versus the Chiefs. But man, I'm so excited. It's gonna be a great game. And also salute to the Texans. They weren't supposed to be here. They, just like with the Packers, they have overachieved, and so they can take this to the bank and build on it for next year. And yeah, man, they have a lot of cap space too, so they're
Oh
they're
yeah.
they're set for the future, man. They really set. They have C.J. Stroud. first year starting, and he's already a top 10 QB in the NFL. He's already teetering. He's not elite yet, but he's teetering on elite. So salute
I
to him.
wonder. I'm pretty sure Bobby is going to get a job somewhere
You
this
really
year.
think
So I
so?
wonder.
You think
Well, after
Atlanta?
that performance, well, isn't Belichick supposed to be going to Atlanta?
The way that it's sounding, it's like they're a bit, it's a lot of back and forth between who do they want. So like I saw a report that said a lot of the coaching staff will want somebody like a Bobby Slowick or a Ben Johnson, a younger sort of offensive guy that can sort of establish, rejuvenate the team and the offense. Some, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
then there's the Arthur Blank thing where it's like, well, him and Belichick are good
Right.
friends and stuff like that. Who knows? But all I know is that the Falcons, they've done so many interviews, 2 interviews with different people and stuff like that. It's really been crazy with this head coaching sort of hot, carousel and all the other stuff with these interviews, because there's a lot of teams that are getting second interviews with coaches and stuff, and they haven't hired anybody yet. It's really crazy.
True.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby Slowick gets the job for the Falcons. They need somebody offensive minded. Don't get another defensive guy. Get an offensive minded guy that can rejuvenate this offense. So yeah, man, we'll have to see. But I'm not going to say Bill Belichick is going to get the job. Like it's a matter of time. I'm not going to say all that.
Look, cold world, still a cold world. And a couple of y'all is cool, but we a little more thorough. Whole time, a little more girls. You know I spit that sick shit and it's still no cure. Hold up, loud packs